Hi everyone, I'm Jake, the founder and CEO of City Career Series, and this is a video about career motivation questions. Now, career motivation questions might include questions such as what made you want to become a lawyer, or what made you choose this career, or which other careers have you explored, and why does this one appeal the most? You might also be asked a question to the effect of what is your understanding of the role for which you're applying? And this can be quite a clever way of testing your motivation, because if you truly want to work in a career or in a chosen industry, the firm will expect you to have at least some idea of what your role might actually involve. If you don't know what it involves, then how can you truly say that you want to do it? Now, when answering a question like this, it's important that you come across as credible and authentic. So consider telling your story, maybe in a chronological way. You can start by saying something like, my interest in a career in law stems from, and then explain what the very first thing was that sparked your interest. It might have been a conversation with somebody at school, a meeting with a career advisor, a particular module that you enjoyed in your degree, something like that. And once you've made that statement, then explain what you did once your interest was sparked. You could say something like, to initially explore this interest, maybe that's why you applied to study law, or you attended some kind of employer presentation, or applied for an open day. Now, at this stage in your answer, you can then start to weave in some of the elements that really resonated with you. Maybe you could say, during this employer presentation, I particularly enjoyed hearing about the intellectual challenge or the nature of the work or something like that. After this, you could then say, this confirmed my interest, which led to me, and then mention some other action you took that contributed towards your motivation. Maybe that's when you applied for an internship or undertook some kind of work experience. Now, in that point in your answer where you're talking about what resonated with you, it must be personal to you, but there are lots of different things you can consider. You could talk about the intellectual fulfillment or the nature of the work, whether it's the international nature or the problem-solving element, the use of language to mitigate risk, that kind of thing. You could talk about the fact that lawyers regularly work in teams and you really enjoy teamwork. You could talk about the commercial nature of the work, if that aligned with your interest in business. Mention the fact that it's a client-facing role, but whatever it was that resonated with you, that's what you should talk about at some point in your answer. And the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is that you relate your answers back to you and your personal experiences. So don't just say the intellectual nature of the work appealed. Take your answer further. You could say the intellectual challenge that lawyers face appealed, because it suggests a career will remain maybe dynamic, varied, stimulating, something that shows you're tying what you've learned into what you perceive will be your longer term career. Now, that's all well and good, but if you can take it one step further and make it even more personal, that would be great. So you could say the intellectual challenge appeals because it suggests a career will remain dynamic, varied, and stimulating. And the reason I know I want to work in that kind of environment is because, and that's where you can bring in a personal experience. You could say, I particularly enjoyed working in that kind of environment where there was a real intellectual challenge during a group project at university or during a previous work experience or something like that. If you don't relate it back to you, then your answer will be less credible and more generic and will probably resemble a lot of the other answers that other applicants are writing in their applications.